Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. We're here live in London. It is Sabbath. It's a Friday night. Sabbath begins at sunset on Friday and goes through to sunset Saturday. So it's a full 24 hours. Sabbath blessings, one and all. It is our nighttime devotion. The devotional is called Conflict and Courage. Today, the title, Not Really Sorry. 1 Samuel 15 verse 23 reads, Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Terrified by the denunciation of the prophet, Saul acknowledged his guilt, which he had been before stubbornly denied, but he still persisted in casting blame upon the people, declaring that he had sinned through fear of them. It was not sorrow for sin, but fear of its penalty that actuated the king of Israel. It was his chief anxiety to maintain his authority and retain the allegiance of the people. As Samuel turned to depart, the king, in an agony of fear, laid hold of his mantle to hold him back, but it rent in his hands. Upon this, the prophet declared, The Lord have rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and have given it to a neighbor of thine that is better than thou. Saul presumed upon his exaltation and dishonored God by unbelief and disobedience. Though when first called to the throne he was humble and self-distrustful, success made him self-confident. The sacrificial offerings were in themselves of no value in the sight of God. They were designed to express on the part of the offerer penitence for sin and faith in Christ, and to pledge future obedience to the law of God. But without penitence, faith, and an obedient heart, the offerings were worthless. When in direct violation of God's command, Saul proposed to present a sacrifice of that which God had devoted to destruction. Open contempt was shown for the divine authority. The service would have been an insult to heaven. Yet, with the sin of Saul, its result before us, how many are pursuing a similar course? While they refuse to believe and obey some requirement of the Lord, they persevere in offering up to God their formal services of religion. There is no response of the Spirit of God to such service. No matter how zealous men may be in their observance of religious ceremonies, the Lord cannot accept them if they persist in willful violation of one of his commandments. Not really sorry. Saul, who was placed as king by God. The people chose him, but God placed him there as king. Again, as we've spoken in the last couple of days, he was ordered, well, not ordered, he went to war with the Amalekites. He was told he would overcome, he would be victor, and that he should kill everything that lives and breathes, all the people, all the beasts, all the sheep, everything, the oxen, everything. He was to kill everything. And yet he didn't. He took the king hostage, captive. The men took a lot of the sheep and the lamb and the oxen and whatever else they could get the best of them, and they used those as sacrifices. And as it says here, the contempt that what God had told them to be rid of, to kill, they saved and used it as a sacrifice to God. What God ordered to be destructed, to destruct, for them to destruct, for them to kill, for them to completely annihilate, they chose to use it for sacrifice. Saul, even though he seemed penitent, it was only so he could try and save face. Try and, mend his pride. He dishonored God in every way, everything he did. And everything he did just proved about self. Self, pride, self-confidence. And then it asks, how many of us are going down that same road? With false confidence, because we seem to be confidently going down the road thinking we're okay, but we know full well that we're not. That's me too. No matter how zealous men may be in their observance of religious ceremonies, it doesn't matter what position you have in church, what position you have anywhere in the world. If you're not doing right by God, you are going down a road of destruction. No matter how zealous you are in your observance of your faith in religion, our Father in heaven won't accept you if you persist in willful violation of his commands.